You know, Chris, I think it's great that you can't see my screen right now because then you don't know when to start chiming in with your like random songs or things.
I know it
you just got
sucks.
you just got to wildly guess at when to start singing. Hey everybody, my name's Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter, and what review copy book
Publishing
fame,
fame,
and review copy book fame.
influencer
Influencer Chris, the
fame.
Objective Geek Ford. Oh, I don't like that. The Objective Geek Chris Ford is better. Chris, the Objective Geek. Yeah. The
Chris
Objective Geek
Ford,
Chris Ford is way
aka.
better, aka the Objective Geek. Got a better ring to it, aka Influencer Objective Geek. I'll figure out how to work that in. Long story short, Chris, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to Avatar: The Last Podcasters. I don't know why I'm welcoming you. You've been here
Thanks for having me,
for
Shawn.
many years, several.
I've been waiting to get on the podcast for some time. Since its inception.
Well, Chris, think of this episode as a rebirth because we ran out of
Mm.
episodes. That sounded very pessimistic. No, we're not out of episode ideas. We're out of TV show episodes for now. That's important.
Anyway, I'm doing good. Still haven't heard back about that promotion I was up for, which is probably bad. Although they said, anyway, Monday or Tuesday. I
That
mean,
feels long for an
uh,
internal promotion, doesn't it?
yeah,
Huh.
yeah, it
I'm
feels really
sorry, man.
long.
That kind of stinks.
But it's annoying. Nonetheless, no, I'm doing good. Doing great actually,
Okay.
Shawn. Been, as you mentioned before, been reading. Well, you didn't mention, but you kind of got into it. I've been reading Avatar Yangchen's novel.
I keep
She
making
didn't. She
motions
didn't
on
write it.
screen as if you can see me and you can't. Chris, I'm holding up the novel as we
Yes, the
speak.
novel.
That one. You got it.
Yes. And the reason why Sean said I was an influencer because I got us both free copies to review, and so yeah, I've been reviewing, been reading it. I'm about probably a third of the way through it, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So excited about that. Also, tomorrow we are going to see John Mulaney. So lots of this episode should be themed like which will come up later. Like things, tangents that has to do with
Like,
tangents coming full circle, I
yeah,
guess.
like they're adjacent. They're relevant ish.
Oh, do you already know what I'm going to talk about coming
No, I
up?
don't.
Did you see? Okay,
I
good,
just,
good,
we talk about John Mulaney a lot, and
good,
sometimes
good.
we read novels. So, um, I say sometimes pretty loosely. Sometimes when Avatar makes novels, we read
Uh,
specifically those.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, that's about
But
it.
yeah, we're going to see John Mulaney tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that. It's probably just nice just to go out and go to KC, see a good show. Hopefully, it should be good. Either way, it's good. It'll be a good experience.
Um,
Yeah,
I'm stoked for tomorrow. I've been out of the house like way more than I like this week. I've actually been in that area. I like never go to that area of town ever where the show is. I almost call it a concert. That's weird. Where the show is. But this week I've been up there like 3 times, and every time I drive by, I'm like, right over there. It's gonna be like 110 degrees. We're gonna be sitting outside. Gonna be great. It's gonna be great because it's an outdoor
yeah.
venue. But no, I'm stoked. We've said for
He's also,
years.
oh, sorry, real quick. I also heard they have metal chairs, so I'm not like should I wear sweat? I'm going to wear my best pair of sweatpants that are breathable.
I did not hear that, but now that you say that, it sounds terrifying. I'm gonna wear my baggiest pair of athletic shorts and hope that works. Hope it covers my legs from the
There's just
hot
gonna be
plate.
the back of your knees is gonna be burning.
It just
Oh, there's gonna be a mark.
it's gonna smell like bacon because I'm not in great shape. But yeah, I'm stoked to go see it. We've said for years. I said we as in you and me for literal years, but then also like even Heather. Like this isn't it's not strictly podcast. Like Heather is every bit as excited as we are. So stoked for that. I also got a review copy of the book, and that made me feel very flattered. Which is a nice feeling. Even though I knew it was coming, like you told me it was going to happen, and I was like, oh, okay. But then it got here, and I was like, oh, it's real. And then I did something else this weekend. I can't remember what the heck it was, but it was sort of show relevant. What was it? Oh, Chris, I got in an argument with another friend about Korra and Aang. And I mean, you kind of
Ooh.
know my stance, but like, I did an okay job defending Korra against like a cliche argument.
Mm.
I just wanted you to know
Yeah.
that I tried my best.
Good. Good.
That's all I got. It wasn't in my head. It was really big and important, but I don't think it actually was.
I got in a little bit of a Twitter argument
You
with
know,
a,
Chris,
but with a good,
influencers
good,
often
yeah.
have Twitter feuds. That's part of it's in the job description.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it was always. I follow this one guy on Twitter. I've been following for a while now. There's a few people I'm like, oh yeah, I would like to meet these people in public, like in real life. And, like he's one of them. Just me just defending Korra, because I'm a avid Korra defender.
This is a friend that my argument was with a real life friend, but I wouldn't have this argument with him in real life. Like I needed the safety of Google and to sit and think about like our discussions. I wouldn't have been able to have it in real time. It had to take place over chat. So,
Okay,
that's what a
yeah,
good Twitter argument or internet argument amounts to.
yeah.
Well, hey, way to step up your influencer game and start fighting with people on Twitter. That's important. Next
Also, just not take away anything. Just start asking for stuff. We just asked to host a panel. Got it. Got free tickets. I just asked for a book. I was hoping to get it earlier to
Yeah,
to
that
review
was
early,
weird to
but
like
hey,
a review
whatever.
copy to show up after
Well,
the.
you know what's really weird is that I was reading an email from. I talked to the head of marketing manager for Abrams Books. Shout out to Abrams Books, which is the publisher for the Kyoshi novel, the
Thanks,
Avatar
Abrams and
novels.
marketing manager. Oh, it's not on here. Okay, I thought it was on here.
Yeah, I'm just say her name. She probably doesn't want her name out.
But she probably is watching this show right now, Chris. You know who you are, Abrams,
Probably.
senior
Yeah.
marketing manager.
Yeah. But she's saying like, yeah, the books are just hitting our warehouse, and this is probably about 2 weeks ago or so. So books should be hitting the warehouse soon. And I know that other people have gotten their copies early, like they've ordered from like Books a Million or something like that. And I was like, huh, that's so interesting. Like different retailers probably have different agreements with the manufacturers of like, hey, send this PO, and like the PO probably just got pulled up or something like that. We know
It's like
POs.
prioritized in a certain way by size or yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
or just like, or yeah, hey, we get the first PO. Like we're Books a Million, we get the first PO, even though
let's be
Books a Million
honest.
gives
We're
them.
just upset that we weren't the top priority.
That's true.
I, I'm a little offended by by this free gift that they sent us for nothing more than an email.
Yeah.
How dare they? Um, yeah, that's kind of funny. Oh, hey, fun question, Chris. Which were you more surprised at? A panel in like an actual room at Comic Con, or a free book, a review copy? Which was
Mm.
more like flattering in a surprising way?
Um, Probably Comic Con. I was very happy and excited for Comic Con. Like when I got the news, and my wife was like, "You have this very like this grin just on your face all afternoon." And so I think that 'cause that was almost like a pipe dream. Like I didn't imagine that we would actually get that chance, and that was before we even had it. All right, that's when I was like, oh, we might have 12 people or so, and so that was definitely bigger. But I did get a good little ego boost, I think, and just a feeling of like, yeah,
There's.
but
I'm gonna answer the
to review.
opposite. I'm gonna say the something about the con being local, which I know this really doesn't play into it, but it like made it like slightly less of a surprise than like getting a book from a random stranger just on our word that we have a podcast. So I'm gonna go, but it was very close. We're talking like 45, 55
Mm.
in that ballpark. But hey, anyway, Chris, you've got some
All right, we
real
got big
news.
news, Sean. Big
Big,
news.
like how big are we talking here?
This might be the biggest news, the biggest official news since the announcement of Avatar Studios.
Okay. That's pretty
Yeah,
big.
which I did. I didn't tell you this because I was just like, all right, whatever. We'll just go over it. If I had, you probably would have went quicker
It's
into the news. Anyway,
it's funny that I'm gonna have a live reaction and you're not gonna be able to see it. I'll narrate my reaction to you as I'm feeling it.
Yeah. So San Diego Comic Con. Speaking of Comic Con, man, I could have segued much better. Anyway, speaking of Comic Cons, San Diego Comic Con is this weekend. It's happening right now. Avatar Studios, Brave the Elements had a panel, and they brought some Avatar Studio news and delivered by Jenny Varney herself. She couldn't be there. I don't know why. She said she's recuperating from something. I had to guess. COVID.
Reasonable, yes.
Yeah, very reasonable guess. Uh, anyway, um, and it's like she's recuperating from a headache or something. Oh, guys, gotta recuperate. Or maybe it's just the simple flu.
Sorry, I'm tired of being awesome and I gotta take a day off.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Anyway, so she wasn't be able to be there, but she sent a video, and she was actually like reading the Kyoshi novel. This has nothing. That's irrelevant, but she just happened to be like, oh, hey guys, doing that type of deal.
That's adorable. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I love Jenna Varney. I feel like she is like not only the ambassador of the Avatar fandom, but the president of the Avatar fandom. Even though she is like not nearly as knowledgeable as probably, she's probably less knowledgeable than the average fan. Or about
really
as knowledgeable.
Okay, knowledgeable of the series maybe, but like obviously she's very well informed.
Yes, no, Shawn. Yes, she has way more access to the knowledge that is like.
But at what point does that
talking about,
overlap as also just being knowledgeable?
I mean, she will admit herself. She's learning a whole lot of new things. And they're going through the podcast, and but yeah. Anyway,
she's being modest.
She might be modest.
I have no idea. Like maybe she's not modest at all, but she seems like it.
Yeah. But anyway, shout out to Jenny Varney. She's cool. I would love to meet Jenny. That's a pipe dream one day for me to host a panel with Jenny Varney on.
Chris, maybe all you have to do is email her.
Maybe.
You're 2 for 2 on emails right now.
I'm 2 for 2 on email, yeah. I am trying to get on the Scrubs podcast. Their producer just like tweeted out like, "Hey, why you want to be on the Scrubs podcast?" And I was like, "Well, they're running out of episodes, and I too host a podcast with my white best friend, and we run out of episodes. So I think I could help them figure out how to keep their podcast going. So I got a bunch of ideas."
You have all these questions that you can ask them that they can turn into pod shows.
Exactly. Yeah. So still hoping to get on the Scrubs, Fake Doctors, Real Friends podcast one day.
We are basically just like them, in the sense that we are fake doctors and real friends. Yeah. I say fake doctors, not that we just aren't doctors.
Yeah. Also trying to get on Brave the Elements one day. That would be cool.
That'd
That's
be
also a dream. Yeah.
I mean, they had Braving the Elements in their trivia. Had a guy from a podcast that I listened to that I knew was big. Like it's big. It was Nerdificent, which is like way bigger than us. But like, it's not like it was just he was a podcast host of a different podcast that wound up on trivia on Braving the Elements. So if we bug him long enough,
I know, right?
Challenge Chris to trivia? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Anyway, the news, Shawn. The news. So Jenna Varney was delivering the news. The news is that the first movie out of Avatar Studios will be about Avatar Aang and his friends.
No kidding.
That was the news.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, right? And I'll support anything the Avatar universe does. But I don't know. I'm just curious, like, where do they have left to go? Like, that's my only thing, which we'll speculate in a minute. Because AvatarNews.co, one thing they kind of got this wrong. Although he's sort of like, oh well, I said things move around. And then he was saying like, I think this might be the Zuko movie because Zuko is a friend of Aang, but oh no, I'm gonna call it a little bit of like maybe just got a little bit of wrong there.
You
It's
just
okay.
he swung and missed, and that's fine.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh.
and so don't know if that Zuko movie is gonna happen or not. Don't know if the Korra and Kyoshi stuff is gonna happen because that's all. Well, those are all rumors, but this is real. So the first one be he did speculate. He heard that it's gonna be adult Aang, which to me that's a given.
Because it is
it's a
a given.
given.
Oh, Chris, what we should have
uh,
done when we started the podcast, I should have been pretending to be reading like Janet was. And then I would have been, you'd have been like, hey, Shawn. I'd be like, oh, I'm just reading these here yellow pages. Like holding the book upside down.
yeah. Um, oh, yeah, the Team Avatar will be adults. And I think that's, yeah, again, that's a given. Like, you don't, one thing, they've told so many stories in the comic books. Right now in the comics, Aang is like 15. And, oh, you just want to see them being older. So that seems like a good place to go. But my only, like, uh, hindrance on it. That's not the word I'm looking for, but my only
Hesitation.
pushback, hesitation. That's what I'm looking for. Hesitation is that I don't. I know where their story ends, right? I know how old Sokka's going to be when he dies. I know that Toph is still alive. I know that Katara's still alive. I know Aang dies when he's 66. I know Zuko's still alive. I know. I don't know what happens to Suki. So there's something interesting. I have no idea what happens to Suki. Don't know what happens to May or Ty Lee. Well, Suki's like way more important than May and Ty
I
Lee.
was going to say that's a
So
big drop off, though, but I get your point.
yeah, and I don't know what happens to Azula.
Don't know
So
what happens to
hopefully,
baby Tom Tom. Or I forget his name.
that's, no, you got it right, Tom Tom.
Nice.
But like, I am excited though to see like a movie production, 2D animation of Avatar. Like Avatar with a limited budget does some amazing stuff, and the scale is really great. It's so grandiose. Like, what the heck are they gonna do with this budget? For some reason, I feel like Aang. So what's if I'm gonna speculate, what I think his antagonist is gonna be maybe some type of spirit. Like he's already fought Fire Nation, Earth Kingdom. There's really no one there who gets along with the Earth Kingdom people. I don't think there'll be a fifth nation. Republic City will probably be built. Maybe he has to deal with like the inner gangs and stuff, but that almost seems too small of a story. Um, and also, we already seen how he dealt with Yukon, and that seemed to be like the big gang leader. So I think it may be some type of spirit, and maybe we'll see what happens to Suki.
I tend to have hesitations about prequels for pretty similar-ish reasons of just like if you got a prequel about familiar characters, like you kind of know where they wind up. Not that eliminates all the story possibilities, but I feel like it usually makes things lower stakes.
Yeah,
And that sounds like it'll be the case here. I wouldn't have thought of Suki. I think that's a nice idea of it can be an Aang and Friends movie, but be a Suki story and therefore still be engaging and untold so far. And I'm trying to think of
yeah.
other good examples. What's other good examples where everything I can think of is too much, like too farther away. Like, what's the lady? All I can think of is like Zuko's girlfriend from the Earth Kingdom, and like all these rando people.
June? Oh, you're talking
June,
about no,
no,
no.
June. Well, June
June is
has
the
the
bounty
giant.
hunter. Yes, sure, she.
Shit, I can't ever remember
You
that
talking
thing
about
because it's not a
Song? Wait,
combo
no.
animal.
Hey,
And
his name's
then
Song. No, Song is the. Uh,
his one date girlfriend from the Earth Kingdom or
oh
something.
my
But
gosh, why can't I think of her name?
I can't either. But my point is, I
I
don't.
made the stupid video about it.
None
Anyway,
of those are as good of an idea as like a Suki. But what are some other people in that same vein
well,
of
we don't know what
Suki?
happens to Boomy, but Boomy's old. Like I'm like, he got another 10 years anyway. That's not
That's probably not a
not a
great way to go.
spoiler.
He's like in a
Yeah,
rest home playing shuffleboard. You know, they got the big outdoor, like the.
yeah.
Have you ever
Like
seen the?
whenever I this is never mind. It sounds cruel because someone might have had someone pass away recently. But anyway.
we little desensitized to that in our house, unfortunately. There's got to be other characters out there that like what
We
happens
don't
to those people
know
or
their
what
story
would a
fully.
but still like impactful characters like a
Yeah.
Haru or the
That's a deep drop right there.
those are
That's
deep.
very.
It's a little too deep probably. The people, the mechanist from the air temple and like his family, but
The Mechanist.
all of these are like too deep. I think it would be more. So that what I'm getting at is I
Yeah.
think Suki was a really good idea to come to in pretty short order, like engaging, unfinished story that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's their big news. It's gonna be about Avatar A and his friends, and that's
Very
all
exciting.
they said.
Hmm?
Yes. The other take with a grain of salt news, but Avatar news has never well, actually recently got a casting wrong, but it was an accident, so I'm not gonna hold that against them. Um so there's a rumor from Avatar News about casting for the Mechanist actually.
No, what a
And
segue.
I know, right? We're just segueing all over the place like it's
Smooth.
2001.
Like, did they have segways back then?
Yeah, they're not really around anymore, are they?
Is a Segway the one that has like the
Yeah, like
handlebars
the
that you? Okay,
yeah,
that's true. That feels like what we used to think was the future, but then it just
yes,
turned into like skateboards.
yeah. So Mechanist. How do I want to say this? Imagine pick someone from one of our favorite shows to play this character.
Can you give me a hint?
Comedy.
Can I start guessing shows and then narrow down to characters?
Yes.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
No.
Scrubs.
No.
What is our other favorite shows that we both actually watch? Why is this so hard? Me and my wife watched
This is why I said this is the
Friends?
episode that's no. This is why I said this is the episode that's themed of like tangents coming full circle.
Tangents coming full circle.
Another show we talked a lot about.
That's
You're
why
almost there.
That's why it's going to be embarrassing when I think of it. Not Big Bang Theory. I don't feel like you like that.
No, I'm not a Big Bang Theory fan.
You know, I was for a very long time, but I've softened on it a lot. What do I got over on my shelf? I can't see anything from over here.
Just keep thinking. You'll get it.
Why is this so difficult?
You've almost had it. I mean, you said Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I said,
You said Scrubs.
what's
And then
the
there's like one
what's the
more.
other thing?
But not Ted Lasso.
But not Ted Lasso. Well, and you said comedy, so I thought it for a second, but I always think of it as like a dramedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, give me one more hint.
So it's from the show Community.
Community! Gosh, dang it! I wish you'd have said like first two seasons or something like that, and I'd be like, Community. Okay, I'm with you. Go ahead. And I got to pick a show. Is Abed going to be the Mechanist?
Yes.
That's incredible.
All right. That's the casting announcement I'm most excited about. Besides Daniel Day Kim as a Fire Lord because I fan casted myself.
Chris, that's basically the first casting announcement that's made me feel anything other than like, okay.
Yeah.
Not because they're bad, just I don't do that.
Yeah, you don't know.
Don't do that stuff. This is the first one that has some impact for me. I'm stoked. I can't believe Community's even right there. Now that you say it, I can see it, but that's a long ways away. Oh well.
But yeah, that's real. Some people are like, oh, some people are like, Daniel Pooty's too old, and then you realize he's actually 43, and then
that's like, that's what.
Like when I'm 43, which will be 9 years from now.
Let's not talk about
my
that.
daughter. My daughter will be. She'll be 18. Oh my gosh. Yes,
that's kind of wild to think about. When we're still doing this podcast in year 14, your daughter will be going to college on your podcast dime from your influencer money.
No. Yeah, and so the Mechanist, one thing Dan Pudi could wear makeup, but even if he's 43, he could easily have a 12-year-old boy.
That sounds perfect to
And
me. Like what?
yeah,
I'm like the second youngest of a Catholic family. Like my dad was basically a grandpa by the time I was born. Like
yeah. I'm the youngest of four. I think my mom was 26 when she had me. So
I think my mom was at least 35 and she still had another one significantly later. Just saying, people, Danny Pooty's going to be fine. But I'm not going to call him
yeah,
that.
no,
I'm going
I'm
to
in.
call him Abed.
I bet. Oh, no, I'm excited for him to be
I
like
hope.
I hope the Mechanist gets some more to do. Like, give me more episodes.
I
Give me more Abed.
That's what I was going to say. Let's feed into this a little bit while you got him here. Let's use him.
Yeah.
Savor it.
Yes.
That's a great pulse. You're right. Everything came full circle.
Yeah. One other thing about the role that I think is interesting is that dang, I forgot to bring something up in the last conversation piece. Um, Now I'm thinking about now. Voice cast. Remember that. Now come back to it.
Got it.
Um, the thing I find interesting about Danny Pudi being um, cast in the live action Avatar is that they seem to be branching outside of. Well, actually, they're making this. It's hard to place what his. Like, he's from the Earth Kingdom, so it probably has some type of
But there,
Eastern Asian influence.
but like we always
Danny
say, the
Pudi
Earth Kingdom
is
is so big.
in vast, and the Earth Kingdom has. When the Earth Kingdom has black people. I've seen black people on Avatar. There's two of them that I've
This
seen, or
this
they're
is
very
terrible.
dark Middle Eastern people.
I was gonna say, is Danny Pudi Middle Eastern or is he from
Yes.
Indian descent?
Well, I could,
I'm not familiar enough with like the last
I could,
name to be able to just.
I could, I consider India Middle East. I mean, it's still, and Middle Easterns are still Asian. Don't want to
Yeah,
confuse that.
I don't
Actually,
consider Indian Middle East, but it is. Yeah, it's part of Asia at least. I'm just curious now. Let's.
I'm not sure if he is Indian. I don't think he is Indian.
He's so
I
handsome.
want to say, I want to say, I don't know where he's from. That in the show,
His father
he
came
said his.
from Poduru, India,
Oh,
and
okay.
his mother is Polish.
Dang it! I was gonna say Polish, Sean. I was gonna
Yeah,
say Polish.
interesting.
Yes, because actually in the show, Community, he says his mother's Polish and his father is from is
I
Indian.
think in the
India.
show his.
Oh,
Well, I can't remember
oh,
now. I was thinking in the
well,
show his family, his
I know
dad was
his
Middle Eastern,
father.
but
I know his father is Muslim because he was, and his mother was like a Christian from Poland, but he was Muslim, but he still likes celebrating Christmas because the whole Christmas episodes and stuff like that.
if any of
That's
this
not
makes me
entirely
sound,
important
it's not. I'm just
because
curious. If any of this makes us sound ignorant, I swear that we're we're trying. We're trying to learn. No, I think you're right though. I forgot about his mom being Polish in the show. That's kind of interesting.
yeah, for some reason I had that tidbit in my head
Oh.
that she's Polish,
Anyway,
which I don't
that's
know
awesome
where
news.
that's from. Anyway, but yeah, Danny Pudi. That's exciting. That's some of the most exciting news which is it's like for a D character who shows up in 2 episodes in the series.
I I hope they get more out of him. I'll be a little sad if they
Yeah,
don't, especially if
I
he's
did
like
share.
really good and engaging, and then I'll be extra
Mm,
sad.
yeah, I did share this sort of meme from Community because in Community he's getting searched by the FBI agents. He's like he's clean except for this bootleg
Except for this
copy
building.
of the Last Airbender.
Wish you'd have told me
He's
that
like I
last
could.
week.
Yeah, he's like we can arrest him for that. Yeah, we should tell me that last week, and he says you can keep it. Right. So I feel like this is another full circle type of deal.
That is because that's the episode with the lady from Scrubs.
Yes, yes, that is
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
that was beautiful. I think all that really needs to happen for this to come actual full circle is something to do with the Lakers being good again.
Not yet, Sean. Not yet.
Not yet. Not this year either. Let's be honest.
Nah, we'll work. Kyrie, I think will be Kevin Durant stays, which
But
I still think more
everybody keeps
likely.
saying the Kyrie thing as if that's gonna be like a savior deal, and I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Voice cast.
Voice
I was thinking about
cast.
voice casting for the not live, voice casting for the Avatar Studios. So what will be interesting is that they'll probably get a whole new voice cast, except for Dante Bosco, for two reasons. One, they are uh, it's older group, right? So older cast. I'm pretty sure a lot of like Jack DeCena could still do an aged up Sokka's voice. He's the actual age. Um, but more importantly, I think the creators are more sensitive to better representation, and they will have voice actors who are actually the same ethnicity or race or close to the characters they're portraying. Like Jenny Varney has said plenty of times, she's like, I think I'm done voicing Korra, but like I'm gonna, you know, support anything in the next person to come along and do it. And I think even Mike and Bryan said plenty of times that they weren't perfect in a lot of things, and there's some stuff they would have changed. And I am 100% certain that the voice cast will be more accurately depicted on the character's ethnicity. Although I could see Dante Bosco coming back, but if you change everyone else but him, although I think Suki's voice actress is I forgot. Um, but you change everyone, but him is like, is that stand
Huh.
out too much, or do you just cast somebody else?
Even Dante
Um,
Bosco isn't. What nationality is his family?
he's Filipino.
Okay, interesting.
He's like at least Asian. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think Mae Whitman is gonna come back and voice this strong native
that
Mexican Inuit
that's reasonable. Yeah,
woman.
noted.
Just different times,
Where does
which is
Vanessa
cool.
Williams fit into all this? That's what I need to
Mm.
know. Because if that's not the next random piece of trivia we get to drop on people, I'll be very
I
sad.
know. But yeah, I think that was the only thing. I don't think I was gonna bring up anything else. I wrote down some notes and stuff, but I'm scared to leave this video session to look at my notes.
I am too.
But
I'm actually going to throw a disclaimer. Like, if stuff looks different, like my camera and mic's in a different spot, Google kicked Chris out of Hangouts, so I'm like the last bastion of hope for regular Hangouts, but made us use Google Meet, and Google Meet sucks. I'm not going to
yeah.
support it. I'm sure, no, it doesn't suck. It just doesn't do what we need it to do. So maybe it sucks. I'll leave that up in the air. Uh, but yeah, so minor disclaimer if we look and or sound a little different this week. That's just a slight transition that Google's forcing us through. And also, I
Yeah.
moved my camera, and it's much closer to my face. And good lord, I'm ugly. I gotta move that camera back. That's terrible.
I can't see it,
It's
but
pretty bad. You'll see it.
yeah,
It's very close. Not a
you have a
fan.
normal face.
Not a fan.
I feel
But
like when it comes to me judging guys, it's like supermodel type of like, oh, I get like people find them attractive, like I don't
there's
know,
there's like a clear
Brad
tier
Pitt
of
or
you're either like
something.
up there or you're
Yeah.
everybody else.
Or you're just everybody else.
Yeah.
There's
No,
no
I
ugly dudes to
I
me.
totally
There's
get
just
that. Yeah, I get that. No ugly people. That's not true. Maybe in an emotional way, but um, and also, hey, Chris, before you move on to the next piece, I was just going to note too that we'll put something out after our show, after we go to the John Mulaney show tomorrow as well. We'll something. I don't know what it'll be. It'll probably be my wife driving the car home while we talk and record on one of our phones. But something will come after the show tomorrow. Even though, because I like to support John Mulaney, I won't share any of his jokes. I will protect his
nice.
proprietary uh, goods ownership of whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I won't tell his jokes. Anyway,
All
Chris,
right.
last thing.
Last thing, first impressions of the Dawn of Yangchen, which I am about 120 or so pages into. Sean, you want to give your first impressions first?
Well, mine came at 4 p.m. this afternoon, and then I left the house. So my impression of this page here. Hold on, let me get to it. I read the first page, not the title page. I read the first actual page. I would say this one page that I read right here was immediately engaging. Immediately engaging. Not like, I mean, I know some of that is just hype because we've been like waiting, and I know it's like review copies got a positive impression. But trying to remove all that, like I wanted to keep reading it right away, and I just couldn't. But Chris, more importantly, my impression of this letter that we got with our book, this highly personalized, definitely not copy and pasted letter. This was catered to us specifically. Was that it was very polite,
Yes.
very polite. That's my first impression. I hope you have more to offer people.
I have a lot more. But again, thank you to Abrams Books for providing us these copies.
Thank you. No,
So
thank you, Chris, for getting me on the list.
yeah, I got that much pull,
You got
as the objective geek. I
listen,
got,
everybody go piggyback a famous person. That's how you get free books.
um, so I pre-ordered, got off Amazon right when it was ready to order, and so that came in on the day it was released, and so I started reading it. Then the copy that so I have two copies. Whenever we do our Neds panel, which hopefully we'll do one, we should be able to do one
Fingers
because
crossed.
it was that successful.
I hope they
It'll
note
be
that. I keep worrying that they didn't like they don't pay any attention. We're gonna go back and be like,
yeah,
hey,
like we had a packed room. Like
it's a
I
big
don't think the other
deal.
rooms were packed. Like I've been to, we've been to other things with rooms that big, and like oftentimes they're not
Especially
packed.
at 6:30 p.m., man. So I hope somebody took note and be like, hey, these guys, they did I.
Yeah.
I
So yeah. So I'll one of my copies will be a prize for our next panel. But my first impressions. Someone I'm very much enjoying reading the book. Uh, I'm a that's on here. I'm an avid Avatar fan, and so I just love being back in the Avatar universe in a big deal, in a big way. Like graphic novels, when I get them because they're in thirds, and sometimes they're just not as important to to me sometimes. Um, but this is it's another big step in the Avatar universe, expanding the universe in a big way. I just love being in it, of being entrenched in it. The world building and everything's really great. FCE does a great job with taking what he's given and stretching a little bit forward, but still feeling very much like Avatar
I
in the
think
world.
I'm gonna compare the excitement of this book, or like, let me think about this. It's a brand new story about a character with no story, so it's not like graphic novels like building off of a foundation, or even not like the second Kyoshi book like building on that foundation. Like this is a brand new thing, and I think that's where some of the extra hype comes from of like diving back into the deeper part of the universe.
Mm. My other, I'm gonna do a sandwich here. I'm going into negative. Um, I do think there's this one section that they introduced this waterbending character named Kavik. That's just probably Kavik. Probably it's probably Kavik. Because there's Katara. It's spelled Cavik. Katara. So it'll be Ka and then Vic probably. Varric. Yeah, Varric. So then Rik, Vik, probably the same sound. So probably Kavik.
That was brilliant deduction. I was trying to think of how to ruin it in Avatar: The Last Airbender movie way. I
Mm. Avatar, Yangchen's companion, Kavich.
I think you mean Yangchen.
Yeah, young.
Are
Yeah,
you the
that probably
Avatar?
is how.
Are you the Avatar, Young? See what I did there?
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty proud of that.
So there's a scene where they introduce him. And it's just like just clustered and it's hard to follow. And I was just like, let's get back to Yangchen. Um, but that was a small part. One bigger negative is that story sort of or slower burn. I don't have a good grasp of the antagonists quite yet, and I'm a third way through. Like when I get what Yangchen's goal is, but it's almost like just preemptive right now, what she's doing at this point in the book. Like with the Kyoshi novels, it was like by probably an eighth, I was like, oh, we're on a revenge mission. We're gonna kill mofo's. That's the goal. We're killing. We're taking
That's what she
people off
said
the
too.
set.
She said, "I'm gonna kill mofo's."
Yes.
Her words,
Um,
not Chris's.
like it was reading that was like, oh, I'm reading like a different version of Kill Bill. Like Kyoshi's out for blood, and I got a good sense of um of what was happening in the follow up novel. Here it's just not like I'm just like, hey, well, I don't know who the biggest threat right now is. I'm enjoying the interaction between certain characters, and stuff, but I don't know, just get a better sense of what the threat is. That being said, I am loving Yang Chen. Yang Chen. So before reading this book, Yang Chen came off as like a holier than thou type of avatar to me. Because she's often praised as like, oh, Yang Chen was like one of the greatest. Actually brought great peace to everyone and stuff. And then we learn a little bit more about her in the Kyoshi novels that she hasn't followed. But even
Yeah,
still, she was still like on a pedestal.
at least as far as human perception goes.
Yeah, and even I think to in the grand schemes of like other out, like when Kyoshi meets Yang Chen, there's a certain like feeling that I, as a reader, through Kyoshi, felt of like this person is like the gold standard almost. Like, thank you for being a great person.
She's the
Um,
classic avatar.
yes, yes, she is the classic
The
Avatar, and she does not come off that way in the book. Like, she's hilarious. She's funny to me. Like, she might be the funniest Avatar, and
That's
it's
not
not she's.
something I would have expected you to say at all.
But it's not like she's like cracking jokes funny. It's just her interactions with people. Like there's one point where, and it's not that spoilery. She has money, and at this time, and this person's like, "Wait a minute, the Avatar can't." She's trying to give this person money to do something for her, and he's like, "No, Avatar, an air nomad Avatar can't touch money." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" She takes her pouch and she like pours it. The way they describe it is that she looks at him as like, "What the heck are you talking about, man?" Yeah.
Like, watch me
And she
touch this
does,
money right here, right now.
yeah. And like she's way more like manipulative. Like she like hires spies and stuff. She's like, you know, I have to do what is necessary and things like that. And also there's one scene where and I had to reread it. She's in the air temples and Kyoshi, I'm sorry, Yangchen is from the Western Air Temple. And they happen to be at the Northern Air Temple. There's other nuns from the Eastern Air Temple, and like one of them walked past her, and they're like, they do some taunt at her, and then Yang Chen goes like, "East side is the least side. You guys suck, pretty much." Like, like she's making, and then they're talking. There's an airball feud. Airball is a sport played, and there's a feud between the Eastern Air Temple and the Western Air Temple.
They got in a
And,
straight up rivalry.
yeah, Yang Chen is like, "You guys are 7-10 this year," and she said, "You guys are 7-10 in my era." Like, that's it. Like that's the thing. The avatars count, but this is like that's funny to me. Like
That's
she's
adorable, is what that is.
yeah.
It's so personable.
Yeah, she's way more personable. She's way more, and they kind of say it in they kind of commented on it in the book. It's like this character has sort of gotten to know Yangchen more. He's like, there's the you up here you, and then there's the you down here you, and then she's like, oh, okay. Um, but anyway, I'm thoroughly enjoying the book. I'm sure I will finish it within a couple of days. Like it's just like with the Kyoshi novels. I'm just that's what I'm doing in my spare time is reading the novel. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to see what happens because I still don't know what the big threat is. I'm really curious what this big threat is. Remember, they talked about like a weapon of mass destruction. Like, I still don't know exactly what that means.
But it sounds like you are. I mean, like you noted as a complaint, and that's totally fair. But like, hey, you're engaged. You want to know. You're hooked. You want to see what
Yes,
that
yeah.
is. So yeah, makes enough sense. Well, I should have a fair bit of time to read it tomorrow. I'm not a fast reader by any stretch, but I should at least have a fair amount of time to read tomorrow and actually get a good start on this thing. That's my first
Yeah.
impression.
That's your first.
My first impression is it
Um,
has a great cover.
it does have a great cover. Yeah. I what was I was gonna say something about the cover. Um, darn, I can't. Oh, one thing that I'm loving about this period is that something. Never mind. Um, sorry, I made a joke to myself that I didn't want to say out loud. Um,
I
one thing
get
I'm
it.
loving about
I get it.
this this time frame that we're in reading a novel is that we're still at the point where the avatar is just like beholden. It's just so uh all people are so awestruck by the avatar. They're still so impressed by the avatar, and I feel like it just declines from. I think it gets like it's pretty steady from Yang. It's like high up with Yangchen, and then goes down with Quirk a little bit because Quirk is just like go with the flow, like whatever, let's drink and be merry type of deal. And then I took it down a little bit, and then Kyoshi, people are just like we're scared of her. Like she doesn't give a crap really about the title. She's just gonna kick butt and take people's names. And then Roku probably took it up a little bit, and then Aang it went down again because he was missing for 100 years. People are like, "Who the heck are you even?" Like, and then with Korra, it's just like, and I love Korra. That's not like a. It's just a sign of the times that people became more technologically advanced. They felt people started to feel like there was no need of the Avatar, and so there wasn't this like, "Oh, thank you, Avatar," like blessings and stuff. Which I miss that. Like the Avatar needs to be freaking respected.
It's kind of interesting to go back to a classic Avatar. Again, you've mentioned like the pedestal, but even sort of the mythos in the time itself with like lesser forms of communication and things like that, where things more of a legend. I don't know. I'm excited to go further back into that ballpark.
Hmm. Yeah, good book so
Right.
far. Good book. I don't think it will get worse. I think it will only get better from here once things pick up a little bit. It's a little bit of just a little bit of a slower burn than the previous novels.
Um. Well, and we've got a whole car ride tomorrow during which we can read.
And when we get to with the venue, we'll depending on how early we get there, won't have our cell phones, so might have to be
We'll have to be
distracted.
entertaining ourselves the old-fashioned way,
Yeah.
which is yeah. I hope that doesn't become a habit for me, but all right, whatever. Chris, final thoughts on this beautifully full circle episode.
I am more excited for the Avatar Studios movie than I probably let on, and I can't wait to see what Bright has. I'm going to fully support this universe because I fully want this. I think this universe can be as big as Star Wars is. I think one thing is better than Star Wars already off the bat. Um, and I think it's deserving of it. I can't wait to see what happens. Oh, another side note is that so Netflix recently was like, oh, we there was some type of story that Netflix wanted to have their own franchise like Star Wars or Harry Potter. And I was like, oh, they want Avatar to be that, and One Piece and something else. Um, and I'm like, that can never happen for them because one thing at most they'll probably be able to at most they'll be able to tell Avatar Lost Airbender story from beginning to end. And we're hoping that even happens because Netflix be canceling stuff.
Netflix doesn't have a perfect track record of finishing out.
Yeah. But at best, they do a good job and tell the whole story. Because once they get to core, Paramount's not going to be like, oh, hey, yeah, you keep telling those stories. Paramount's going to be like, no, we'll tell the live action stories now. Like, we're not going to let you keep making money off our IP. Like, thanks for revitalizing it a little bit, but we'll take it from here. Like, they won't be able to build a franchise off of Avatar. Paramount won't let that happen. And right now, it's weird because it seems like Avatar Studios and Avatar Netflix are just not they're not cohesive right now because they shouldn't be. There are two different production, two different companies. Um, and but I don't know what my point was saying that, but point being is I'm very excited to see what Bright and them do
I think you're.
because I trust them.
I interpreted your point as that you believing that other people also see the potential of Avatar universe.
Yes, that's my point. Yes, thank
That's what I took away.
you. No, that was my point. No, yeah, this universe is just going to get bigger. I think. I think it's not. It's going to be really interesting where we're going to be at like 10 years from now, where the universe is going to be at. And also, I feel like they're starting to pigeonhole themselves into telling just stories of the Avatar. But like, there's way other interesting things. Like we have a universe full of people with superpowers.
Well, that's the
Like you
same
don't
thing
have
with
to
Star
tell.
Wars. Like everything's always like a Jedi and a Sith. It's like you got a lot more you could work with out there. Like the
Although when it comes
Mandalorian.
to, well, I haven't watched Mandalorian. But when it comes to like Star Wars, though, I don't care about the Star Wars aspect of it. Like I just care about the Sith and the Jedi.
Well, I suppose
But I
other
think it's with
couldn't other like other types of Avatar fans say the same thing about Avatar though.
probably that's my yeah. I might be contradicting myself. Or yeah,
Um, but no, I would like the Mandalorian. Maybe that's why it was so exciting, is because finally it was a different part of this universe that didn't need those other things.
yeah.
With
Like they can tell a story about Jet, and the Rough
you
Rhino.
shut your mouth. No, they
But
can't.
I would love
He's
to see
dead.
from people. Tell a story just about Zuko and Azula. Tell a story about Iroh and how he grew up and found himself, and how Lieutenant died in the 600-day siege on Ba Sing Se. Tell a story about a random person 800 years ago who was the sibling of an Avatar, or anything. The world is freaking vast. You have
The
a whole
class,
spirit world has been
like
told. You have
a class reunion, but where the Avatar was part of that class, but then they couldn't make it back, and it's all the stories people telling behind their backs. Like they sucked at math. I can't believe they're the Avatar.
what I was recently thinking about, which I was gonna share it on Facebook, but it was a week ago that I had the thought. Like, Jesus was probably not even a great carpenter, because he was probably a decent carpenter, right? Because he can't be too great, because he's fairly humble, right?
Well, let's say
Fairly.
that. Let's say that.
He's
Let's say that if depending on which variant of Jesus you believe in, like he could have been the best carpenter, just via miracles, but like Jesus without the miracles, just being Jesus, maybe was not so great at carpentry.
But then I started thinking like, well, he's probably just an average carpenter, but he really should have been a fisherman, right? Because he was a great fisherman. He knew the best spots to fish. He just like, hey, throw that net over there. Jesus, sure, trust me, throw it over there.
Man, I
Oh, Jesus, we caught
came
all
out
these
here
fish.
three
Yeah,
times
Jesus.
last week. I know where stuff are. Like, just throw it in.
Yeah, like, hey, he could have went to catering. Jesus, we're out of wine. All right, I got it. I got it. More wine. Jesus, we're out of food. Someone. Let me MacGyver something. Give me two loaves, five fish, whatever it was. All right, let's we can, we can
There
feed
should
this
have
party.
been there should have been at least one biblical miracle where Jesus did something with his carpentry
With the
background. Where
Scarface.
there should have, because like you mentioned, he's got these other
He
great
should
stories. Like,
he should have been if okay if I was if I didn't believe the Bible's real, if I was reviewing the Bible as a story, I was like, you know what, that
Miss
Jesus character should have been the one to build the arc. Really, he should have been the one
Missed
to build the
opportunity
arc.
there for some closure on
Like, I'm
Jesus.
not understanding how his skills in carpentry how it correlates with being the savior, and that seemed they should have swapped those characters. Really,
I even always wanted to know what Joseph, like, how much carpentry was there to do before HGTV? You know,
true.
what did people
This was
want?
shelves. There's that good. Uh, dang, I can't think of his name. Uh, Catholic, white, fat comedian. That should you know him, Shawn,
Is it?
right?
Is John Panette Catholic?
No,
What are you
he has a
talking about?
beard. Talks about why can't I think of his
Jim
name?
Gaffigan?
Yes, Gaffigan.
Okay, that's funny
He
because
was
like he calls himself fat and you call him fat, but it's like he's just a tall guy. Like he's a big fella, but
no, I don't consider him fat, but he calls
he
himself fat
calls
all the
himself
time.
fat.
That's yeah,
Okay,
yes.
she's like a Shiite Catholic.
but
It's a Jim Gaffigan
he
joke.
was but he was like, you think that Carter ever came up with miracles? Like, hey Jesus, can you heal my son's blindness? And you also make these shelves. You do these shelves first. Because then, I want my son, I want when he's, when he can see, I want him to see the shelves. And then, so,
I do remember that.
anywho, I'm going off on a little tangent here. How long has it been, Sean? I can't see the recording right now, which is why I haven't been able to.
It's time to go. Let's put it that way.
Yes, okay.
Chris, let's sign off, and then tomorrow we'll post something after
Yeah.
the John Mulaney show, something that protects his integrity of his content. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, everybody. My name is Shawn Shaler. That guy up there is my friend and social media influencer Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek. I've been thinking about that the whole episode, how to spruce that up. This has been Avatar: The Last Podcasters. I'll put all the contact information down in the description, and any kind of reviews you can leave us on your aggregators of choice or on YouTube, whatever, likes, subscriptions, thumbs up, comments, whatever you want. We would be glad to interact with you. Thank you so much. We will see you next time.
Dang it, that might have been too long.
I mean, it was pretty well timed, actually. Now you went way too quiet, so it just sounds like something's happening in the distance in your house.
Thought about how they woke up.